Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome. My name is Ashley Nelson, and I'm the Communications Director at Childhood Education International, or CE International for short. You may recognize my name from LinkedIn. If not, definitely follow us on there and our other social media platforms. It's my honor to welcome you here today to share a bit about us and how we're evolving. First, just a few housekeeping notes. This will be recorded. It should last about 30 minutes, and a recording will be sent out to registrants. We're also excited to hear your thoughts and questions today. So I want you to feel always welcome to reach out to us at contact@ceinternational1892.org. We'll put that in the chat, and we'll also have that up at a slide at the end. And now just a quick note about our agenda today. We're going to just sort of talk about who we are, what is changing and what isn't changing. What are the reasons for this change? What does it say about the ECD landscape, and how we can better adapt to it? And then in a practical sense, what does this change look like? How will it affect how you've engaged with us in the past? Finally, we want to make sure you know all the many ways you can partner and engage with us. We really see ourselves as connectors, and we're excited to continue collaborating with old and new friends. It is my joy to introduce Diane Whitehead. She is the president and CEO of CE International and has been for 15 years, and she has done a great job steering us through this transition. So I'm going to hand over the floor to her. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. We're excited to provide this opportunity for you to get to know us. Yes, we're all at a moment of transition. We've seen changes happening in our communities, our nation, and our world that are coming at a more rapid pace. None of us are sure quite yet where these changes will lead. Sometimes this feels as if we're in a desperate place and that we need a new map to guide us, which may be true. But we can all hope that some of these changes we're experiencing now, no matter how difficult, will actually lead to a wider global realization of the importance of the early years. And I know for many of us, that is the work that we are doing, working with young children and those who support and nurture them. At CE International, we want to be ready to meet these challenges with optimism and to be prepared for what we hope will be a global reckoning around humanity's future. Yes, we all know that children are the center of this conversation and about what we are going to become. So our values are the same, but our work is evolving. For more than 130 years, CE International has existed because of relationships with educators, communities, institutions, and even with systems that are grounded by the value of early childhood as foundational for lifelong learning and development. Our evolution is really about how can we best nurture these relationships going forward, building upon that legacy as an organization that has innovated the professionalization of the early childhood field. Keep in mind that although education is at the center of our name, we know that a whole child approach is essential. Children's health and well-being are critical. And for many, many years, we have taken a holistic approach to education and child-centered well-being in all of our projects. What's different about us and what hasn't changed? Well, we'll continue to work in that same way, looking at children holistically. What's different is that we will operate and refer to ourselves more as a global consulting service, a service that's there to support your needs and to help you to learn and to grow. The change is not just symbolic. We've been hard at work over the last year developing new processes and engaging consultants as we want to be the place that you think of first when you have a project that needs a well established and innovative early childhood partner. Yes, many consulting organizations have early childhood departments or units, but we actually know and specialize in the early years, which gives us a unique and beneficial positioning to assist you and the work that you do. What hasn't changed then is who we are, our values, our commitment to early childhood, our role as a trusted partner, and our caring for you who do this work day in and day out. What has changed is how we organize and deliver our work so we can respond more flexibly, work deeply with partners, and meet the realities many of you are facing right now. With that, I'd like to introduce our Senior Advisor for Global Education, Yvette Murphy.
Thanks so much, Diane. Thank you, everyone, for joining us to this new model that we're entering into. As we think about SEE International as a nonprofit consulting service, one of the things that we take very seriously is understanding what is changing in the early childhood landscape and what that means for the people doing the work every day, like yourselves. We spend a lot of time paying attention to the global trends and agendas, but also to hearing from you, our partners on the ground across different regions and contexts. Over the last decade or more, the early childhood field has been changing significantly in complexity, expectations, and accountability as it's been elevated and prioritized on global agendas. What we've seen is that there's a greater focus on system strengthening and not just on those isolated programs. Those system strengthening that centers child development and well-being is the real work, and isolated programs aren't enough. Even in developing focused programs, it's essential to be thinking about it in an integrated way. There's an increased demand in providing evidence, outcomes, and the return on investment. Evidence that's backed by that evidence that shows not just what we're doing, but the difference that it's making for communities, societies, and economies. As an integrated field, as you all know, early childhood requires cross-sectoral collaboration across education, health, social protection, and from those less traditional sectors like the business sector. And we know that that coordination is hard. We also know that over the last decade, as momentum for early childhood has increased globally and expectations for the field have grown, at the same time, funding environments have shifted and resources have been more constrained. What we hear from all of you as partners is there's a great need to support children and families with fewer resources and limited capacity, and in often incredibly challenging contexts. Whether it's working with refugee populations in conflict-affected settings or responding to the compounded effects that these challenging realities have on children and families, the evidence base exists to support the needs of our youngest and most vulnerable. What we do know is, despite these challenges, we have always valued and continue to build upon the assets of communities. And as a consulting service, we will be able to leverage those local strengths, knowledge, and expertise. So in this model, the question for us became, how can we as an organization work differently? And how can we respond to these realities more effectively? As a nonprofit consulting service, we are enabled to be able to build upon our legacy and expertise in a way that provides greater agility and continuity. We're able to respond more quickly to these real world needs because we know ECD challenges cannot wait. It allows us to not be so reliant on funding cycles and be more responsive in weeks and months, not years. And it allows us to partner with clients in a deeper, more sustained way, and if need be, and not just for a specific or short period of time. It is, of course, important for us to watch trends and pay attention to global agendas, but this model will allow us to really elevate local expertise and co-create with all of you together the projects that are grounded and informed by those realities. A consulting model also allows us to engage more flexibly across sectors and stakeholders, such as ministries, NGOs, and businesses, helping to align efforts that often operate in silos, but that need to work together. We can use our strong, long-standing relationships that Diane had referred to more efficiently and effectively. So what is our bottom line? Our mission remains the same, and that's important to remember. We are being more intentional with the relationships we built and continue to grow. It's about how we show up as a nonprofit consultancy. We're able to respond faster, work more flexibly, and partner more deeply across sectors and contexts. So what does that actually look like for the people and systems we work with? And how do we organize our work so we can meet these realities in a way that's timely, flexible, and grounded in the local context? To help us answer that question, I invite Rachel Brown, our Director of Business Development, to join us. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you, Yvette. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time focusing on what this shift to a consultancy service means in practice at CE International. So that's how we work, how we're supporting partners, and how we leverage local expertise to meet the needs that Yvette just talked about. As the landscape of early childhood development continues to evolve, many of our partners are facing a recurring set of challenges. Our consulting work is designed to specifically respond to those needs in very practical and actionable ways. One of the most common challenges is making sense of complexity. Early childhood efforts often involve multiple systems, actors, and agendas. These work across education, health, social services, and beyond, with limited coordination among them. In these contexts, our role is to support coalition building and cross-sector collaboration. We help partners align stakeholders, clarify roles and priorities, and create shared approaches that allow systems to function more coherently. Another frequent need that we see is turning evidence into action. The frameworks, data, and research are widely available in the early childhood field, but applying them effectively at the local level can be difficult. Our work focuses on helping partners operationalize evidence through tools such as ROI comparisons that support decision-making and resource development that translates research into guidance, plans, and materials that can be used in practice. We also work extensively on building capacity that lasts. Many of our partners are looking beyond reports or standalone trainings, and they instead want to strengthen systems, skills, and leadership over time. In response, our consulting work emphasizes approaches such as training of trainers, communities of practice, and the integration of early childhood priorities such as social and emotional learning into existing systems. The focus is on building existing strengths and assets to ensure that capacity remains long after our engagement ends. Another defining feature of our work is operating under real constraints. Limited time and funding, shifting political environments, and crisis contexts are now common environments in which our partners operate. As a consultancy, we're able to provide rapid, focused support when needed, while also offering flexible and scalable approaches that can adapt as conditions change. We prioritize context-responsive planning and embed capacity building directly into our work so that partners are strengthening systems rather than managing isolated projects. Now, underlying all of this is our strong commitment to elevating local expertise. CE International has a long history of co-creation, and that continues to guide how we work in this new model. We're drawing on on global consultant networks with experts on the ground in every region, tailoring frameworks to local contexts, and advancing local ownership so that solutions are both sustainable and locally driven. Now, this approach, it really shapes who we're partnering with. We're working with organizations responsible for shaping the systems that affect young children. As you can see on the screen, these are public and private sectors that include school systems, early childhood programs, governments and ministries of education, local agencies and global and regional networks, institutes of higher education, health agencies, non-governmental organizations, and corporate partners who are investing in early childhood. But across all of this work and with all of our partners, how we operate is consistent. Our global consultant network allows us to combine local expertise with our organization's deep global knowledge of early childhood, and it allows us to remain agile and flexible in how we're supporting partners. We provide the structure needed to work across early childhood systems in a cross-sectoral and efficient way. To respond to these kinds of needs consistently, we organize our consulting work around a small number of connected practice areas. They focus on systems, people, and capacity, and Diane is going to walk us through those next.
Thank you, Rachel. So let me tell you a little bit about our consulting work, our practice areas, as we call them. And our current areas are quality assurance, professional learning, and capacity building. Just briefly, I'll touch on these. And these are our current practice areas. Of course, we'll continue to look at how we need to evolve as we move forward and as new needs develop. For our quality assurance services, we develop clear and consistent and measurable standards of excellence through a variety of means, including quality recognition for accrediting agencies, certification of early childhood trainings, early childhood teacher credentialing, and guidance for early childhood program quality. Second, we have our professional learning services, which equip educators, leaders, and institutions with the tools, training, and resources to elevate teaching practices and advance equitable learning outcomes for all children. We co-design programs, including curriculum and teaching guides and micro-credentials that are context relevant, evidence-based, and rooted in inclusive pedagogy and community engagement. Finally, through our capacity building services, we strengthen the systems, leadership, and partnerships that make early childhood programs sustainable and effective. In doing so, we help partners align policy with implementation, improve coordination across sectors, and create lasting infrastructure that supports every child's well-being. There'll be links to one-pagers that we put into this that you'll be able to access. These are distinct and interconnected, and together, these practice areas support stronger ECD systems. They aren't new interests. This is how we're organizing our long-standing strengths into consulting services that it will make it easier for partners to engage with us. So now I'm going to take a look at our special initiatives. Our practice areas are always also deeply informed and strengthened by three special initiatives. These are the Center for Professional Learning, which supports educators worldwide through high-quality professional learning grounded in holistic and inclusive, sustainable teaching and learning principles. The Center for Business Champions, that works cross-sectorally to help businesses invest with purpose, early childhood systems to grow with intention, and children to gain those strong foundations that they deserve. The Early Childhood Development Task Force, or ECDTF, is a disability inclusion global online community with almost 2,000 members in more than 115 countries. All of these centers and initiatives show us how we put together that learning and innovation is in action. In particular, they support us as we work from the school or community, level up through the larger systems and structures to higher levels of government administration, overseeing programs and developing those policies that are so important to all of us in ECD, whether local or national government agencies. These aspects of our work will remain the same and strengthen us as we evolve. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Ashley to tell us a little bit about the big picture. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much, Diane. It was exciting to hear about this. And I just wanted to reinforce what Diane was saying, that alongside our consulting work, we're really continuing to think about ourselves and to be a laboratory for innovation in early childhood development. That's not changing. So our goal here has always been to forge and highlight new approaches, particularly across geographic and cultural contexts. In addition to our centers, which Diane just highlighted, one primary way we do this is through publications. We have two publications. The first is Childhood Education Innovations Magazine, which comes out 6 times a year and features new programs and lessons learned in ECD from around the world. So our latest issue is out now. It has articles on Afghan children currently in refugee settings in Pakistan, mental health and well-being programs for children, and discussions on health and education in Vietnam. So we encourage you to visit our website and to subscribe to this magazine, as well as our Journal of Research in Childhood Education, which is a more academic, peer-reviewed journal that comes out 4 times a year and features new research and studies designed to support teachers and other education leaders. The current issue focuses on artificial intelligence and education. So again, please feel free to subscribe and learn more on our website. I'll also, while you're there, please check out our courses, because as we work to advance and contribute to the field, one of the ways that we do that is through fee-based and free courses. So here on the screen are a couple of our most recent courses, which are entirely free and are dedicated to supporting teachers working in contexts affected by displacement or immigration. So please check that out. There are well over a dozen free courses on social emotional learning and other topics. I'm going to hand it back to Diane to wrap us up. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for the big picture of what we have available for you. So let's talk a little bit just before we close out about the ways that we engage. As a consulting service, and also, through that, we hope to be able to support you, to help you to learn and grow, develop your programs, develop your initiatives, really look at your curriculum, the training that you need, so many things that we hope to be able to support you and work with you to ensure that children that you are serving are doing well, are learning, and their well-being, and looking at them holistically is really what we are centered on, that child's holistic well-being. So the ways that we can engage with you through the consulting service is actually, first of all, the consulting. We can consult with school systems, with governments, with many other entities, and learn about your needs and help to shape what it is that you are working on. And we'd be happy to support you in your journey. Strategic advising, where we come in to look at your strategic plan, other types of strategy, and that you are trying to ensure that you can have in place so that you can move forward smoothly and into the future with the vision that you have for the work that you do. And that can be done with NGOs, with ministries, with so many other types of entities. Resource development. We're really good at developing resources, and we want to be able to help you. We can work with practitioners, we can work with accreditors, with system level actors, again, with NGOs, with governments to develop the resources that you need, and coalition and network building. We want to be able to bring people together. I think that's so important. So we talked earlier about how CE International really values relationships, and by being able to bring together coalitions to help where we can, to have people support and learn together, that is so important, and we can help you to build a coalition, and we're also a part of many coalitions ourselves. So all of this being said, we really want to engage with you. We want to keep in touch, and we want you to connect with CE International. We have a refreshed website that you can visit, and we hope you will. We'll keep refreshing and updating that as much as is needed. The social media, please visit us on LinkedIn in particular. We're on other platforms as well. We're on X, we're on Facebook, but LinkedIn is a very good platform that we use an awful lot. We'll have different types of news pieces coming out to you and newsletters. You can schedule a call with us. I think that's so important. We have a contact form that you can use where if you think that maybe Childhood Education International, CE International is the place for you to get some help on a project or initiative that you are building, there will be a contact form. Go to our website and you can take a look at that, complete it, and we will have maybe a 15 to 20-minute chat with you about what your needs are. So please do schedule a call. And then, of course, you can contact us. We have contact at ceinternational1892.org is where you can write to us and ask us a question. So we do want you to stay connected. We do want to keep in touch with you. And as we move forward, we need your support to do this work as well. We're all in this together. Please join with us so that we can really envision that world together, that all nations and communities can prioritize young children's development, learning, and well-being. With that, I'd just like our team, some of our team members are with us today. We've heard from Ashley Nelson, our Communications Director, Rachel Brown, our Director of Business Development, Yvette Murphy, who is our Senior Advisor for Global Education, but we also have online with us Michelle Allen, who is our Director of Operations, and Anne Bauer, who is our Director of Publications. And please remember that we have an amazing magazine called Childhood Education Innovations, and you can subscribe to that and get ideas, be stimulated and inspired by the articles about what's happening for early childhood development around the world. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being with us. I hope you learned a little bit about our new way forward, and we look forward to working with you and connecting with you again. Thank you.